Hi you all, give me just 1 second and I'm gonna fix all this up. Been rushing around trying to get ready for this live. I'm just gonna share this real quick on a few pages. And oh, that's not it. Sorry. Give me just a second here. Gotta give people a chance to pop on too. All right. So I am going to be making some stuff today. Let me put this up here. Let me adjust my camera here too, you guys. Sorry, I feel like, and I'm getting an echo, sorry. I always forget to turn the volume off of my iPad. I watch the iPad while I'm filming so I can see what you all see. And I forget to turn things off and like get it all ready and stuff like that. So anyway, here we go. Maybe you guys can see my face a little bit, or the lower half of my face. Oh goodness. Now I can adjust my camera a little bit better here. Okay, so here I am. I am Suzanne Martin, the Chalkology lady, as I'm known. Sorry, I tried to like dig out my bandana super quick and it looks ridiculous, but I had my hair braided and my son was playing with it and he made it kind of a mess. So this is me today. I am a mess. I was rushed getting over here to get ready, like I scheduled to do it, and then anyway, so I just now noticed I don't have something I need, but we'll figure that out in a little bit. I think I can make it work. Actually, my idea here might even work better. Let me grab this paper plate. Y'all will see what this is for in a little bit. So I'm with Couture, and for those of you that don't know, Couture is, my camera's crooked. Couture is a company that is a direct sales company that makes reusable vinyl silkscreen adhesive transfers. That's why they're reusable, because they're adhesive. And chalk paste and chalk inks. And the inks can be heat set and made permanent, so that's one of the unique features of our inks. We also make lots of boards and surfaces, including pillow covers and little cosmetic bags, wood boards and magnetic and non-magnetic chalkboards, just all kinds of goodies. But today, and we make all kinds of transfer designs for every season and just for regular like home use, everyday home use. And clothing use and hat use and all kinds of stuff like that. I have a ton of stuff that I've made with it, but I'm focusing on Halloween stuff today. So here's one of my favorite pieces. This is our sugar skull transfer. It's a layering transfer. I'm trying to get it so that you guys don't have the glare and you can see the colors on it a little bit better. But this transfer comes in 8 different pieces. And there are 4 pieces that make up the flowers and 4 pieces that make up the skull itself. But this one's super fun to work with. I actually have this piece listed on my finished piece website. It's the Wooden Lady. I'll put the link on this page as well, so you guys can check that out if you want to. It is for sale. This is a piece that I made as a giveaway gift just the other night, Sunday night. Hi, Kara. So this is the finished piece. When I finished it live online, I didn't like the way that the pumpkins looked, so I redid those. It looks almost the same, but whenever you're looking at it closely, you can see that it's a little nicer now than it was then. So let me kind of back this up. You can see the whole design here. So it's our Happy Halloween sign. I did this as a giveaway. So what I told everybody was, hey, if you share this post, then you will be entered to win this amazing little board that I'm making here. And I made this board myself. This is not a Chalk Couture board. And today I won't be using any Chalk Couture surfaces. All I'm using are things that I bought at craft stores or things that I had sitting around my own house. Okay. So, this is a craft pumpkin, not a live pumpkin. Actually, I just pulled it out of the basement. It still has real life cobwebs on it, which might work for my design actually. But anyways, this is a craft pumpkin that can be used over and over and over again. And my intention on this one is to make it a Halloween pumpkin for now. And then when Halloween is over, I'm going to wipe off the Halloween design and put on Thanksgiving design. So we have some that say thankful and grateful and all kinds of cute different things that would fit on this pumpkin. It's a pretty decent sized surface to work with. So we're going to get started here with, I have something to, fuzz my transfers on. I'm going to put a little jack-o'-lantern face on my pumpkin. I think that would be really, really cute. Now this is kind of textured sort of with the bumps and lines and stuff. Hi Jen. So it might not lay perfectly. Also it's round, so this might be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see how it works out. So this is one of our vinyl adhesive transfers. Where you see a white in the design, there is a silk screen there. That's why our transfers are so awesome and why we're able to get so much detail in the transfers is because of the silk screen. Not all of our design pieces have to be connected to the back. So yeah, sorry I'm so out of breath. I was literally running all over the place trying to get over here. So I am fuzzing my transfer right now, which means I am setting it on a surface and I am pulling up fuzz. I want the back to become not as sticky because our transfers are awesome. The reason they're so reusable, thanks Kara. The reason they're so reusable is because of the adhesive, but in the same turn, the adhesive can be so as sticky that it doesn't come up as easily as you might want, and it can stretch. And if you stretch it, it might not lay right the next time. So I'm just laying this on a towel 3 or 4 times, picking up fuzz on the back of the sticky part so that it won't stick quite as hard. Now because I'm doing this in front of you guys, I want you to see what I'm doing, but I also have to see it too. So I'm going to lay it on its side so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to lay this on here as best I can. Like I said, this is not a flat surface. So I'm going to start at one side and I'm going to wipe my finger across the design like this to make sure that it adheres to the pumpkin in the areas that I want it to adhere. Now I am probably going to get a little bit of bubbling on this because of the ridges. The silk screen doesn't lay super flat on the ridge. I learned that the hard way doing a live for 4th of July on a corrugated piece of metal. Corrugated metal and our transfers are hard to work with. It did kind of look cute, but I had to go back in and fix it some, which was kind of a pain. So I probably won't do corrugated metal again, at least not a live video. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that this transfer is sticking really well around the edges of my silk screen. Don't want any bubbling, and if I do have some bubbling, I can just peel it up and then try again. And the reason is because you don't want your color to bleed underneath of the design, or it makes it look smudgy. And it doesn't ruin it, but I prefer it not to be that way, so I just try to be careful as I lay it down to prevent that from happening. So like I said, the ridges on this make this design a little bit more challenging to do, but pumpkin designs look so cute when they're done, so it's worth the extra time to lay it flat and all this stuff just to be sure that it looks the way I want it to when I'm finished. Addie and Angela are both on here. Awesome. So you guys might see me do like a major fail today. We'll see. One of the things about live videos is once it's on there, it's on there. I can always not share the video, but why take the time to do it if you're not going to let anybody see it? Even if it doesn't look perfect, that's okay. It doesn't have to look perfect. I do have a little OCD though, so if it doesn't look perfect, you can guarantee I'm gonna go back in and fix it later. I can't help it. So I'm putting the adhesive transfer down, making sure it sticks really good around the silkscreen, and we're done with that part. And the next thing I'm gonna do is get my paste out here. Now this is black paste. I haven't used it in a few days, so it might be a little bit thick, but that's not a big deal. I've got a stirrer here. I've got a water bottle here. So if your paste gets a little thick on you, you just open it up, spray a little bit of water in here. I can already tell by looking that it's a little too thick. That's why I went ahead and squirted it before I started mixing it up. But since I'm just using one color, it shouldn't take me too long to spread it on this. Still a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more water here. And you guys will see the easy way to apply this. That's why I love this stuff too. It's so simple. Even if you're not a crafter, and can't come up with your own ideas, you don't have to come up with your own ideas. Our transfers make it super simple. The next design that I'm gonna do, all I'm doing is one color and the design exactly the way that the transfer is on something that I bought at a craft store that's already pretty much pre-made. Okay, take my squeegee. This is a squeegee. We sell these too. This is part of our accessories that we have. I have others, but y'all, I'm telling you, I rushed in here today to get this done. I wanted to do it, but when you got a kid and he won't go to bed when he's supposed to, so you can do your video, you just gotta have to make do with what you got. So here's my squeegee. This is our old small squeegee. I use this to cut apart. Hey mom. I use this to cut apart and make smaller pieces, like these for instance. These are cut apart pieces from other small squeegees like this. We have a new small squeegee that's available. I'm supposed to be getting mine with my next order coming in next week. And it is turned this way, whereas this one is turned this way. And it's got a sharper angled edge here for you to use when you're putting your stuff on. So all you do is you get your paste, you get your squeegee, you get a good amount of paste on your squeegee, like this. You might be like, wow, that's too much, but you wipe off the extra and you save it. So you're really not using that much in the end. All right, I'm just making sure it gets in the silk screen really well. Look, I even got it on my finger. Also, no problem, it washes off. So I'm getting it in the silk screen. You can tell if it's not in your silk screen. As close as I am to this, I can see that, but you guys probably can't because of your the camera distance. So I got it on there, scraping off the extra, literally just scraping it right back into my container to save it. You use very little paste actually on these types of projects. I'm saving quite a bit of it back in here. So that's a good thing too. If you do have to redo a design, at least you didn't waste a bunch of your stuff getting it done. So there we go. I put my paste on, scrape off the extra, and I have a bowl of water or a pan of water over here, so I just drop my squeegee in a pan of water. I have paper towels right here too, so in a minute I'll probably have to wipe that off. And because I got it on my finger, I need to be careful not to get on anything else. But now I'm just going to peel my transfer off. The design will be left behind in the silk screen. There you go. Here's my jack-o'-lantern. No carving necessary. Would that take me 5 minutes start to finish? Maybe. If I hadn't been talking, it probably would have been a lot faster. So the face is down a little low, but your all's angle's up high too, so it looks a little bit lower. There's my little jack-o'-lantern face. I think that looks really cute. I love our stuff. This is from Build a Jack-o'-lantern transfer. It's one little piece of it. There's actually several more, and I'll show you guys real quick. I left it over here to the side. I just cut that one little part off of the top there, but it comes with little pumpkins and faces and stems and a couple of extra little pieces here if you wanted to add some extra stuff to your picture or to your jack-o'-lantern. So that's our little Build a Jack-o'-lantern thing there. I wanted to do something else on the other side of this. So this is my jack-o'-lantern on this side, and we're going to do the back side of this in just a few minutes, but I want to let this dry first. So our next project we're gonna do real quick while we're waiting for that to dry is, let me wipe off my extra paste there. And it just wipes right off. I'm just wetting this paper towel a little bit. Some of these colors will stain some, but if it's on your skin, it'll eventually come off because I had orange fingers earlier, but they are no longer orange. So here's a little baby onesie. I'm gonna show you something with our inks real quick. So the design we're gonna do now is just a little bitty piece of our Halloween webs transfer, 2 little pieces of our Halloween webs transfer. And I'm not sure if I want to do the spider up here or the spider down here. What do you guys think? You all tell me. Up or down? Yeah, way better than carving, right, Jen? I'm serious. Like these craft pumpkins, and like I said, I'm gonna wipe that off after Halloween, and this is just for my inside my house. If I wanted to use my pumpkin here outside, all I'd have to do is get a clear sealant. I like to use sprays, not painted on. My favorite actually is the Rust-Oleum Chalked brand matte clear spray. I don't know if they sell it everywhere. I've seen it online on Amazon, and I've seen it in Menards, but I've never actually looked for it in Lowe's or Home Depot, so I'm not 100% sure if they have it there. But that's my favorite clear spray because it gives a matte finish. Kara says spiders should go down. Anybody else got an opinion on where the spider should go? Above the design or below the design? I'll give a couple of minutes here. But yeah, so whenever this is done, I'm wiping this off, and I'm going to make a Thanksgiving pumpkin instead of a Halloween pumpkin. So also totally reusable, and it won't go bad. Okay, so we got one down and one up. Jen, Mom, anybody else want to weigh in here? I'll leave it sitting here for you guys to look at. Got it down and an up. And this is going to be the other side of our pumpkin. I really don't know if I'm going to use every one of these. I think I'm just going to use the word spooky because I think it's cute. Down, 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 down. All right, well, it looks like the consensus is down, so I'll go ahead and do it down. And so I am only going to fuzz this transfer, and fuzzing, once again, is just where you put it on a towel or a fabric surface of some kind to pick up extra fuzz on the adhesive so it won't stick too hard. But since I'm doing it on fabric anyway, you know what? I'm going to fold this into itself sticky side out just to help me get a center line here so I can center this up a little bit better. Onesies are so hard to do too because you can't get a good center point on these. Even if I were to fold it in half, it still wouldn't be a very accurate center point, so we're just going to guess. Babies move around a lot anyway, so maybe you wouldn't even notice. Okay, so I'm just putting this down just like I did on my pumpkin. I'm putting it down. I'm making sure it seals really good around the silkscreen design. And because these two don't have to be a certain distance apart, I'm going to fuzz my little spider and add it on there. And today I'm showing you all projects you can do with one transfer piece and one color. I'm not trying to get fancy, although I do love the ombre effect on stuff. You know what? I'm going to fold this one in itself too. Just to get a center point, help me line it up a little bit better. Yeah, so one color, one transfer design. The Eek Boo Spooky I'm doing on the back side of the pumpkin. I feel like that's not level. On the back side of our pumpkin here is one transfer that's $9.99. The pastes sell for $12.99. I'm using an ink on this project because it's fabric. And what I'm going to do is, our inks are $13.99. This is gold. I love gold. You heat set our inks and they become permanent. So in heat setting this, what I'm going to do is once it's dry all the way, I can either wait till tomorrow or I can use a hairdryer and speed up the process. But I am going to wait till tomorrow to iron it. So I forgot to get anything to put under my design. So we're just using paper plate. We don't have to be fancy. We do sell ink mats, which is on my list of things to buy, but I haven't gotten one yet. So until I do, this will just have to work. This is just to keep it from soaking through and getting onto the back side of my fabric here. So these are our inks. What I do is I wait for this to dry about 24 hours, and then I take an iron and I set it on medium-high heat, no steam, and I iron this side of the design with parchment paper underneath and between my iron and this. And then I flip it inside out and I do the exact same thing on the other side. So 4 minutes on each side with an iron, and it's set and it's permanent, and you can wash it and dry it and it doesn't affect the design at all. I love making shirts and hats and stuff. It's so fun to do. So this is our inks. It's a really creamy texture. Y'all can see it might run a little bit. It's real thick. And it goes on the exact same way as the paste does on a hard surface. I have dog hair on this. You guys, if you have pets, I'm sure you know. It's everywhere. This was clean. I just got this out of a package and walk in here with it, set it down on the table, and it has a dog hair on it. Oh, goodness. Okay. So this is my gold ink. We do have metallic inks. We have gold, copper, and silver, and they are super fun to work with and use. Has a nice shimmer to it. I'm not 100% sure you guys can see the shimmer, but just in case, there it is. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to put this on here, make sure it gets in the silk screen really well, and then I pull the transfers up, the design's left behind, and I have a little, this is a 0 to 3 month onesie. Rhea, I have absolutely no use for this, so if little princess wants this shirt, she can have it. She's like a month old and she's so cute. Okay, so I'm just putting this on here, making sure it gets on my silk screen real good. And I'm gonna have to get a lot more. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Like I said, you scrape the extra off. So I just put a big chunk of ink on my squeegee. Scrape it over to my design, making sure it gets in the silk screen really well. And so these transfers can be used, like, I think the official word from Couture is 8 to 12 times. But I've also heard a lot of people say you can use it a lot more than that if you take good care of your transfers. So if you were to buy a transfer piece for $9.99 and an ink, say, for $13.99, what do you got, like $24.98 there? And you have enough stuff to make 10 or more of the projects, like if you were doing it for a group of kids or like whatever. It's so fun. So here we go. I got it on there. I peel it up. And you always want to try to peel your transfer side to side or top to bottom. I found whenever you're doing it on a t-shirt, you work with the fabric, like the way the fabric goes, so it doesn't stretch real bad. Your shirt doesn't stretch while you're peeling it off. So here we are. Here is a cute little onesie for a princess to wear for Halloween. And Rhea's my friend with the tiny baby, and her baby's so cute. And Rhea's also a big fan of Halloween, so this is like the perfect little shirt for her little girl to wear. So there's our Halloween trick-or-treat shirt. I think you guys are right. Putting the spider down was a good idea. I love it. And look at that spider. Huh. They have bigger spiders too. This is from our Halloween webs transfer. I didn't show you guys this one. This is another really large transfer that I'm just using a couple of pieces from. Another thing about our transfers is you buy this big old transfer, and sure, it's not like free, or you know, it's more than what, $29.99 I think for this one. But you can use the pieces in it however you want. So they have Happy Halloween, Trick or Treat, bunch of webs, different size spiders, a little scroll design down here. You can use it so many times in so many different kinds of ways. So like I said, I'm leaving this on this plate to dry. Once you heat set it, Michelle, it does not wash off. Heat setting is an iron on medium-high heat for 4 minutes on both sides of the design with parchment paper separating it so it doesn't stick to your iron and ruin it. But then it becomes permanent, and this is a shirt that your kid wears wash and dry over and over again until they outgrow it, or until, in this particular case, it's out of season. So that's one of our things. I'm going to come back over here now and grab our jack-o'-lantern craft pumpkin that we did earlier. It's still a little bit wet, I see. It was real thick in the cracks here. So it's just a little bit damp still. I'll just have to be careful whenever I'm adding our second piece on here. And I think I'm just going to do the word spooky. Yeah, I think so. On the back side. So I can turn this pumpkin however I want. If I really wanted to be cute with it, I could always do like the word eek down this side and boo down this side and spooky back here and stuff, but we're not going to get that fancy with it on a live video. I might actually do that though after the video's over, but I'll take pictures of it for you guys to see. I have some little hay bales and stuff I bought at craft store after sale, after season clearance. There we go. After season clearance is like my jam, y'all. That's how I get all my like decor for different seasons, is after season clearance. Somewhere in my basement, I still can't find it, is a huge plastic tote that's got like oodles of Halloween decor in it. But what you're seeing on the table right here today is stuff I bought at Dollar Tree. These lights and the batteries and the butterflies I all got at Dollar Tree, which I think are super cute. But we're actually going to use them in the next little project that I'm going to show you all. So I'm just fuzzing this transfer. Like I said, fuzzing is picking up extra fuzz so that it doesn't stick really hard to your surface. Move my backings out of the way here. And I noticed something that you guys cannot see over here to the side of me, maybe you can a little bit, is some ink that I got on this black fabric that I'm using. And I don't actually care because when I'm done with this, if it's got a bunch of stuff on it, I'm just going to throw it in the washing machine and wash that off, because until it's heat set, it's washable. Thank goodness, because I'm always making messes on my little tablecloths and stuff. So I want to try to center up our new design pretty even with across from the other design. So once again, this is on a surface that has ridges in it. So it's not going to lay as easy, but it's not as large of a transfer, so the curve won't affect it quite as much. So I'm just going to start in the middle here, run my finger down, making sure that it's adhering around the edges of the silkscreen. It doesn't matter if it's bubbled up. You guys can't see. It doesn't matter if it's bubbled up like right here. It doesn't have to be sticking everywhere, just around the design itself. So this is from the Eek Boo Spooky Transfer. Here's the rest of it. I cut this one off the bottom. And this transfer retails for $9.99. And like I said, if you got this and you got a paste color, or black, which we're using, it'd be like $24.98 before tax. And you have enough transfers. I mean, technically I'm cutting this apart, so I'm not even using these two yet, but you can use your transfers 8 to 12 times and keep using them after that sometimes too, if you're taking good care of your stuff. So for $25, you've got enough stuff to make a minimum of like 12 projects, really, 8 to 12 projects. You know, so my friend is doing the Sugar Skull design shirts for herself and her 2 daughters for Halloween, so they all have the same little shirts. This is one that I made last week. This is one of our Halloween transfer designs too. So, okay, I think that's on there pretty good. Once again, I'm going to get my paste out here and a squeegee. This time I'm going to use a different size squeegee. I'm going to use one of my cut pieces here. Same deal as before. Get a bunch of it on your squeegee. It's a glob. Start smearing it on here, making sure it gets inside the transfer or the silk screen, which, like I said before too, I can see because I'm up really close to it. I know that you guys don't get that detailed of a view from the video on the live. But so I'm just making sure it gets in there. Once it's in the silk screen really well, then I scrape off the extra, put it back in my container, and peel, and it's good to go. And this is not permanent unless I want it to be. So if I want this to be permanent, I have to spray it with a clear sealant. But I don't want it to be permanent. I want to be able to reuse this pumpkin for Thanksgiving stuff. Alright, so I'm peeling it off. I'm going side to side. So it did bleed a little bit around one of the ridges here. Let's see how the rest of it did. There we go. Eat Boo Spooky transfer, and I just used the spooky piece. See, it bled just a little bit on my S there because there was a ridge there, but I don't really care. The word says spooky, so it doesn't have to be perfect anyway. So that's one side, and here's the other. Now I can set this in my house. I have like a little desk, like a roll top desk in my entryway. So this will go on top of my roll top desk with my black roses and my like scary picture frames. I have these holographic picture frames that looks like a picture of an old lady and an old man, like a gentleman, you know, Victorian period. And then whenever you look at it from a different angle, they look like skeletons. So that's all the stuff I use to decorate for Halloween on my mantle. Okay, our last little project here is a little more involved, and we're going to do it on glass. So I'm going to need a paper towel here because I got glitter on my glass, and you'll see why there's glitter on my glass here in just a minute too. So I bought this. This is a shadowbox glass piece here. Here's the rest of my box. It's grabbing a hold of my stuff. So here's the rest of my little box here. Once you put all this together, this is what keeps it shadow box looking. So everything inside stays up. The glass goes in this part, then you put this in, and then you put your backer on. And before you put the backer on, you put whatever you're gonna put inside of it. So we'll get to that just a little bit. So we're gonna do this design on glass, and I need your guys' opinion because I couldn't decide which color to use for this next design. So our next transfer is the Charming Little Witch. So this one says, a charming witch and her little monsters live here with one handsome devil. So I couldn't decide what color I wanted to do. The background in my shadow box is black, and we're going to be using some of this glitter web tulle in there as well. So I have two choices for colors. I have our bright orange color, and I have our wild berry color, which is like a purpley berry fuchsia sort of shade here. So which one of these two, orange or wild berry, do you guys think would look best with a black background and a little silver glitter? Give you guys a minute to answer. Sorry, there's a delay between what I say, what you guys hear, and then when you respond. So it can be a few seconds, you know, at minimum, before I hear what you guys have to say when I ask a question. So that's why I just kind of sit here. Okay, we got one wild berry. Kara says wild berry. Kara and I share an opinion that wild berry is one of the best colors that we've ever made at Couture, I think. Right now it's that and peacock. It used to be the teal, but then they came out with the peacock color, and now I'm like in love with peacock. Awesome. So we're getting the berries. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 wild berries. Rhea, you may be outvoted here, honey. I'm sure your feelings are super hurt. Now, I am chalking this one on glass. So I'm going to fuzz this transfer a lot more than I did the other ones, actually. Simply because it's so sticky, and glass, it sticks to glass like nobody's business. You're not always outvoted. Oh, somebody else agreed with you. Michelle says orange. So I'm just going to fuzz this transfer to pieces over here so it won't stick to the glass so hard and be hard to pull up. I've also had, and I hate that this happened, I didn't fuzz a transfer well enough. Wild berry and pumpkin spice are your favorite ones right now? Yeah, I've been using that pumpkin spice like crazy. It's like our orange here, guys, but it's like a richer, like brownish orange pumpkin spice color. And the texture of it is better too, I think. Like a creamier, thinner texture. Maybe it's just mine, but that's how mine came, and I really like it. So I'm fuzzing this transfer because one time I didn't fuzz my transfer well enough, and I put it down on a chalkboard. And you guys, it stuck so hard that the adhesive stuck to my chalkboard. It didn't totally ruin my transfer, but I was really upset about it. And then I took my whole design, wiped it all off, because you can do that, and Okay, so if I wanted to make the design permanent on like my pumpkin, glass, or wood, they have sprays. Now you have to get a specific spray for glass so it doesn't make it cloudy. You can use different kinds of clear sprays, Krylon, Rust-Oleum. A lot of those brands make a good clear spray. I like the Rust-Oleum Chalked brand matte clear because I like a matte finish. I'm not a huge fan of the glossy finishes. However, this pumpkin kind of has a glossy finish already. So if I wanted to make the pumpkin permanent, I would put probably 2 or 3 coats of a clear gloss spray on this one just to match the rest of the texture. But most of my things I use the matte finish spray on. The glass one, I have a spray that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I'm not 100% sure you can find it much anywhere else. That's for glass. And if you don't buy a glass specific spray, you'll be sorry because it will make it cloudy and it kind of ruins your design. No, I don't sell the sprays. Sorry. You'll have to buy those either on Amazon. I buy them on Amazon a lot because I can get the deals. They do the add-ons on Amazon. I'm a Prime member, so I get a lot of stuff free shipping. So the add-ons on Amazon, a lot of times I've gotten some for like $3 and some change where you'd pay $7 or more in the store. So I'm just putting this down here on my glass. I'm going to go with the wild berry. It looks like that was the most voted. Making sure it stuck really good. Here's my wild berry. This one typically has a really good texture for me. However, the color separates a little bit. I don't know if you all can see that very well. But so I'm going to give this a good mix just because the color starts to kind of separate when it's been sitting. I haven't used this one probably a week. I've been using other colors, even though this is my favorite. So I just want to blend this in real good. But the actual like texture of this is fine. It doesn't need any water. If they're dry, you can just add a couple of squirts of water with a spray bottle and give it a stir and it's good to go. So I'm doing this design and you see how wide it is. So I'm going to take out my squeegee from my water pan over here. And the reason I have a water pan sitting over here is so I can drop my stuff in there. My squeegees, my transfers. I don't leave the transfer set for a long time in water. I think it kind of messes up the adhesive, and I certainly don't want that. So I just drop them in a pan of water for just a little bit, and then I try to get them rinsed off in the sink and laid out to dry. Then you take a Clorox wipe and clean the adhesive off. You defuzz the adhesive, literally. I mean, that's funny to say, but you're literally wiping off the extra fuzz that's on the adhesive. And reusing, like putting it right back on the backer that it came on. And that keeps it clean so that you can use it the maximum number of times. So I've got a little black stuck on here. I don't want it to get in my next design, so I'm just wiping this off. And these squeegees retail for $4.99, so you could get 2 or 3 of these and just kind of have them, because I bought mine and cut them into pieces much smaller so I could have small pieces to use for different designs. So anyway, just getting a glob of my paste on here and I'm smearing it on, making sure it gets inside the silkscreen really well. Trying to keep it on the transfer and not off the edge. However, if I do get it off the edge, it's really not a big deal. It wipes off easily with water. Or on this kind of surface, if it was just a little spot, I would probably just use my fingernail to take it off. Just getting it all in the silkscreen, making sure it's covering all of the areas. Now I'm scraping the extra off, putting it back into my container to save for next time. And I see a little bit here. If you have lines in it, whenever you scrape it off, it can show up on your design. So I like to make it like really smooth. But like I said, I'm kind of OCD, so that bothers me, but it might not bother you. So I'm going to grab it here at the edge. Always try to go top to bottom or side to side, not left or not diagonally. It can stretch your transfer and then it won't lay down properly next time. there we go. A charming witch and one handsome devil live here. Oh wait, charming witch and her little monsters live here with one handsome devil. This is another $9.99 transfer. So this transfer plus this paste color, $24.99. You could make 8 to 12 projects with this. I bought this shadow box on sale at Michael's Craft Store. They do that a lot, and I'm signed up for their like Michael's Club or whatever. So I also get coupons for like take an additional 25% off of, you know, any item, including, or your whole purchase, including sale items. So I always try to go on those days when I can get some super cute stuff. So here's this piece. Now let me show you what the plan is here, guys. This will take some modifying on my part, but very minimal amount of modifying, honestly. And y'all see how janky this is before I put it together, and then what it looks like after, and you'll be able to tell like, what? So this will go in this way. This is my shadow box, putting it in here. One of the things I need to remember to do this time that I forgot before, and I had to kind of take it apart and start over, is that, there we go, is that you have to put the backing on the right way because it only hangs from one end and one side, you know, so you don't have to take it off and try it again later. So I do this, and I just chalk the outside of this glass. So it'll scrape off, but because this is going to go up on the wall, I'm really not worried about it scraping off. Now, if I want to, I can get that clear glass spray out, and I can spray the glass and it'll stay. But I might not keep this as a Halloween thing. I might decide to do something else with this in the future. So this is just a little separator that keeps the backing separated from the rest of it and what actually makes this a shadow box. Otherwise, it's just a deep picture frame that the glass won't stay in place. Okay, so that's down in there. Now here we go with this. This is just some glitter tulle that I bought from the Dollar Tree. It came in a whole roll. This is just a little bitty piece of it. So I am just going to stick this down here on the bottom. I had some googly eyes, but I wanted this to look a little, I don't know if classy is the right word, but a little fancier, I guess. So I decided not to put the googly eyes in here, but I'm actually using my little decorations here as part of my shadow box design. So we'll see how this goes. This is the little light thing, also bought at Dollar Tree. Comes with a little battery pack. I bought a pack of, I think 8 batteries, also at Dollar Tree, so if it doesn't last forever, you know, I paid, you know, what, less than 20 cents a piece for the batteries. I can live with that. So I'm going to leave this out, and hopefully this will go in here the way I want it to. So I'm just going to stick these lights in here randomly and shove all of them in here and kind of make this work. Try to keep this part down. So I'm making a little Halloween shadow box here that's lighted. Big fan of the lights. I made a Halloween wreath the other day, which was also lit. Not lit as in that's cool, but lit as in like lighted. My daughter be shaking her head. That was really cheesy. So here we go. I probably should have put the lights in first, and then kind of, if this doesn't look right, I'll readjust the lights whenever I'm done here. Alright. So if it looks bad, like I said, we'll readjust the lights. And here's the janky part of this, guys. I cut a piece of fabric and stuck on here, and I didn't cut it to the right size. But once it gets behind the frame here, you can't even see it. So it's just a piece of black fabric that I use my kids' school glue that goes on purple and dries clear to adhere it to this. The whole idea is that this won't be seen, like, you know, nobody's going to touch it. It doesn't matter if it's kind of silly looking. So I got to get around the little metal pieces that keep the frame in place. But it looks like my wires are going to come out just fine from the side here. So I'm sticking this back down. And while I'm doing this, my paste was drying on the glass, but it was lifted up off the table enough that I didn't feel like I needed to worry about like it getting messed up. So let's see. How does that look? Not bad. So I'll go back in and I'll move these lights around a little bit, but I think that's super cute. Let's see if you guys can even see. Oh, yeah, there it is. And I might even kind of like pull up some of the tulle on one side a little bit and kind of make the lights go up a little bit on one side. Y'all are catching a serious reflection off of my, I don't know if I want to call it a chandelier, but my light fixture up there. I'm trying to adjust this so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. And, you know, the lights were $1. The batteries were less than $1 each. The piece of tulle here, you know, I might have used like 10 cents worth of the glitter tulle. And then the shadow box, maybe I paid $6 for. So this is a super cheap project. And like I said, whenever Halloween's over, if I want to reuse this shadow box, I'll just take out the stuff from inside and wipe the design off of the glass, and it's all done. And in the meantime, I can just tape my little battery box back on here off to the side or whatever, so it'll still hang the way I want it to, and it should be fine. Like, so there's one of our projects we did today, our lighted shadow, like Halloween shadow box. Oh, and I forgot these little things. I have glue dots, or I have a hot glue gun. I probably will use glue dots since I'm going to try to reuse this, but I can put glue dots on this thing. It comes with little clips. If you guys can see the clips. Also bought at Dollar Tree 2 in a package, so these were 50 cents a piece. So I can make several of these. I could hand them out to friends, I could sell them, I can keep it at my house, which I might actually do because I like everything I make and have a really hard time like putting things up for sale. Angela can attest to that. She was at my house this weekend and I've got stuff in it, like every single room just kind of stacked up. There's so much of it. But anyway, so I could put my little butterfly over here in the corner, or I could do 2 or all 4 or whatever I wanted to do. Try to hold that so you guys can see what it looks like on there. And it matches because it's got spider web wings. And then here's our little pumpkin that we finished. Says spooky on one side and has a jack-o'-lantern face on the other. And like I said, also redo this for Thanksgiving. I totally plan to wipe the face and the words off and use one of our Thanksgiving or fall transfers to put designs on here. And where's our little onesie and our little baby Princess Halloween onesie in gold. This is our inks, and the inks can be made permanent whenever you heat set them. You can also use our inks on like ceramics and glass and that kind of thing. People like to do wine glasses. I do coffee mugs. I do Yeti cups and things like that too. This is one of my Yeti cup designs that I've made. I bought this Yeti cup at Joann's craft store, and it was on clearance. I think I paid $6 for it. And it's not, you know, Yeti brand, it's Yeti style. But I used our inks on this, and I put this in the oven, minus the lid obviously, at 350 for about 40 minutes. I stick my transfer in, or not my transfer, I stick my design, how's it not wash off, Couture glasses? When you heat set the inks in the oven on this kind of stuff, they become permanent on these things too. So 350 in the oven for, what I do is I put it in a cold oven and I turn the heat on after I've set it inside. And I'll turn the temperature at 350, and then I'll set my timer for about 40 or 45 minutes. If it's a really humid day, I set it for about 45 minutes. But that way it gets a solid 30 to 35 minutes in the hot oven. When it's done, the timer goes off, I shut my oven off, and I leave it in there. As the oven cools, I let it cool. Whenever it's cold enough for me to reach my hand in and grab it out without hurting myself, then it's finished and ready to go. You can put this in the dishwasher and all that stuff, but it can scrape off if you really like go at it. And so I don't dishwash mine, I hand wash mine, but I love the cup so much that it's worth the little, 2 minutes it takes to hand wash it. But you can do wine glasses and ceramics. I haven't done it yet, but I've got some glass like Pyrex casserole dishes that I'd like to do up, so when I take them places, people will see that. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you all have questions about, you say, hey, that's really awesome, either I want to do this or do what I'm doing, or just purchase and do this at your own house, just let me know. I just recently started talking to someone about doing a virtual party. So if I don't live in your area and you're really curious and you'd like to do a party in your home, we can figure out a way where I can join you and your party through Skype or Facebook, chat or whatever, or oh my gosh, my brain is just completely stopping today. Anyway, on the iPhones, I can join you by video and just kind of help you host your party by video. Tell everybody what to do. Show me you doing a project, talking about what I'm doing and that kind of stuff. I do Facebook parties, do all kinds of stuff. If you guys are curious about any of that, please send me a message. If you'd like to make purchases for your own projects, just follow my website. It's in this link. That's this live video. And I guess that's about it. Thanks so much. Have a good day.